Hey y'all, this is Kelly with Homeschooling Abridged, and today I'm going to talk to y'all about Nathaniel Philbrick's The Mayflower, The Pilgrims, and the New World that we read for our Guest Hollow curriculum. This was printed, this is the Young Adults edition. It was printed in 2008 by Pilgrim. The whole reason why he wrote this book was he was in his town's record stuff office, and he was going through the records of Nantucket, of Nantucket, and he came across King Philip's, from King Philip's War, signature, and he was reading some things and was trying to figure out if he was from Rhode Island, why had he traveled 65 miles, which, is quite a distance for the time period, to Nantucket. And that led him to the writing of this book, because you had to go way back to the Mayflower, and some of Jamestown's actually in here, to find the answers to that. So this book takes you from the 1600s, so when they're raising the money for the Mayflower, and what was going on in the world at the time in England, and all the way to the end of King Philip's War. So this book is used for quite a while in the curriculum that we were using it for, which was Guest Hollow's American History 1 curriculum. And if y'all haven't checked it out or heard of them, I suggest you go do so. I'll give them a shout out, and hopefully I can do a link in the description. Sometimes it lets me, sometimes YouTube's like, no, not today. So hopefully it will do so. But they have all kinds of curriculum, and we love it. I'll have to do a whole video on just that. So anyway, this book has very good maps throughout it, so that you can see exactly where they're talking. And the one thing that we really liked about it, this is definitely high school level. Not because the reading was necessarily difficult, the subject matter is. And that's something to keep in mind, that sometimes just because we can read well, there are things that maybe we shouldn't necessarily be burdening kids with at a young age. And this part of history can be quite burdensome for adults. It was hard reading at some points. He takes a very unbiased view, which I appreciated. He tells both sides, good and atrocities that were committed. And he just, without judging, he puts it out there. And we've had many, many discussions between he and I, and then family discussions about it. The theories, and the book's not coming through all the way, so there, so you can see how pretty the cover is. It's a lovely cover. And behind it, the thoughts and things, it's a very complicated subject. I will say, by the time we were done with this era, because, right after this is with the Salem witch trials, that we had really had it with the Puritan society in that time period, because it was just overwhelming and so much to think about. And so anyhow, so just keep that in mind. When you are reading things like this, it can be heavy, and you might need to take a little bit longer to process instead of just going through to truly get what you can out of the book. We honestly didn't follow the schedule. We tend not to follow schedules. But this book is still talked about. He brings it out a lot, and my son does, and conversations with other people going, oh, that reminds me of, and he'll be referencing this book. And so I would say it made quite an impact on him, and he really enjoyed it. And if you hear something coming up, that's my dog. My Doberman's coming up behind me. My girl don't like to be away from her mama. And so I highly recommend this book. For content considerations, just everything happened in history, from rape, maiming, killing, kidnapping, slavery, war, stealing, and this is from both sides. It wasn't just one side, so it was bad times, hard times to read about. So anyway, but it is a good book. I have put off doing this review just because the content was rough to get through, and I wasn't for sure, and I know I'm kind of rambling because I'm still not for sure how to get it all out. I highly recommend it, but it's going to be a hard read, emotionally. At least it was for me. But on top of that, we laughed. He had a way of telling the story that you like, yeah, that's, or we'd be like, oh, I wonder if he's going to be doing this, and he did, and you're like, oh, that was a joke. That's sad. My son has come out saying that history is very much like a Monty Python skit. You wish it wasn't, but it was, and people are people no matter the time over, and they do stupid stuff, and it's been written down. Re-video it now. I guess that's the only difference. I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to close this. This has been a good book, and I enjoyed it, and I recommend it. Have a good day. Bye.